Elizabeth Warren throws her hat into the teepee. Mitt Romney goes full-on never Trump in his political comeback. And the first Palestinian American ever elected to Congress drops the F-bomb on President Trump. Happy New Year, and welcome into the first 2019 edition of Liberty Nation Radio, a production of LibertyNation.com and heard from coast to coast on the Radio America network. Oh, the fireworks ahead. We will review the bidding as Democrats unleash their pent-up fury on the President of the United States. Mitt Romney, given up for dead after getting shellacked in the 2012 presidential election, is reborn as a U.S. Senator, and before even being sworn in, takes aim at the man who did win the presidency. And the partial government shutdown is set to enter a third week. We'll be joined by LibertyNation.com national correspondent Joe Schaefer to review the bidding, and by LibertyNation.com legal affairs editor Scott Cosenza to preview the year ahead for your individual liberty. Well, just when you thought the never-Trump faction of the Republican Party had been dismissed in disgrace with the retirement of Senators Jeff Flake and Bob Corker, along comes the loser of the 2012 presidential election to willingly serve as the useful establishment idiot the left desires as its new house pet, or perhaps more precisely, its new lawn jockey. Yes, before even being sworn into his new position as U.S. Senator from Utah, Mitt Romney buddied up to the leader of the resistance, the Washington Post, and delivered a broadside at the man who was able to accomplish what he could not, win the presidency. Evidently, fancying himself as a paragon of virtue, the title of Romney's op-ed ends with, "Trump's character falls short." We're left to wonder who died and left Mitt in charge of the character police. As the nation turned its lonely eyes to the failed presidential nominee and fake conservative and breathlessly awaited his verdict, Romney delivered, quote, "Trump's conduct over the past 2 years, particularly his actions last month, is evidence that the president has not risen to the mantle of the office," unquote. Then Romney proceeded to lecture us with soaring rhetoric and a bottomless cup of highfalutin cliches on what a president is supposed to be. Quote, "To a great degree, a presidency shapes the public character of the nation. A president should unite us and inspire us to follow our better angels. A president should demonstrate the essential qualities of honesty and integrity and elevate the national discourse with comity and mutual respect." But Mitt wasn't done. Quote, "Trump's words and actions have caused dismay around the world," unquote. Yes, indeed, those globalists running Europe into the ground with their socialist, light, low-growth, high unemployment economies do not approve of the 45th president. Shame about that. As Romney concluded his rant, essentially a rinse and repeat of his unfortunate 2012 campaign, he offered up the final flowers for the bouquet he's thrown to the swamp establishment to assure that, unlike this president, he's on the A-list for all the right social events. Quote, "I will speak out against significant statements or actions that are divisive, racist, sexist, anti-immigrant." Well, like moths to the flame, and as sure as the sun rising in the east, the leftist media that savaged Romney in 2012 is now anointing him as a Christ-like figure. They can barely contain their glee, and we will play you some of their comments a bit later in the show. So I guess that's it. If Trump can't pass the Romney character test, he ought to just resign right now. No point in even waiting for the Mueller report, which, of course, is sure to be fair and balanced. Seriously, though, exactly why did Romney run for the Senate 6 years after everyone assumed, per General Douglas MacArthur, that he would just fade away like old soldiers who never die? And why, in God's name, did he decide to gratuitously demonize his own president? Well, consistent with his Hillary-like refusal to get the message from voters and leave the stage with some semblance of dignity, old Mitt decided he would snatch the low-hanging fruit of a Senate seat in the most Republican state in the nation to use as a platform to unleash his transparently vengeful reprisals against a president who said Romney choked in 2012. Mr. Mitt, apparently feeling that his scurrilous attacks on the nominee of his own party in 2016 did not complete his hit job. Maybe he did this because Trump made a fool of him by dangling the job of Secretary of State, forcing Romney to kiss the ring and say nice things before dismissing him with a wave of his hand, much to the relief of Trump supporters who view Romney as the embodiment of everything that was wrong with the GOP. So just like John McCain, the GOP nominee who preceded him and got shellacked in 2008, Romney appears driven by revenge and undiluted envy, or by resentment that the country thoroughly rejected his own classic establishment countenance and platform. Conservatives, always wary of Romney, held their noses and voted for him, but it was hardly enough because most of the country was unmoved by Romney's wooden soldier act. Or Romney may be desperately seeking a too little too late Sally Fields-like affirmation from his party. You like me, you like me. Good luck with that. Trump's approval among GOP voters sits at near 90%, equal or greater than Ronald Reagan. And Americans, Mitt will soon learn, don't care much for sore losers. This washed-up relic of the bad old days of GOP loserdom will soon learn that no one, other than the Trump-deranged media, actually cares what he thinks anymore. Welcome to 6 years of Mitt Romney, the left's new lawn jockey. We will break away for a moment and then be back to preview the political year ahead with LibertyNation.com national correspondent Joe Schaefer.